I'm Todd Matthews, Hot Rod Todd. Glad to have you with us on this Wednesday morning. It's just about 9:30, which means it's just about time for Ask the Lawyer with Bruce L. Scheiner. Speaking of learning things, we learn something new every single week from questions largely submitted by you. Would you please help me welcome Bruce L. Scheiner, attorney for the injured. Good morning, Bruce.
Hey, good morning, Todd. How are you doing this beautiful morning?
Better. Now that the rain has, and the winds have died down, the rain has stopped, all that nasty weather has blown through, thankfully.
It has. It was quite a storm last night.
Yeah. That's the way winter is sometimes, and I guess things could be a lot worse when you look at some of the folks that got tornadoes in the Panhandle and so forth.
I'm happy to be in Southwest Florida.
Yeah. Sometimes you just got to count your blessings, you know?
That's true.
And such is the case. I would try to offer same kind of encouraging thoughts for today's email writer because there's something really kind of awful going on here. I'd like to read it to you and get your feedback.
I'm ready.
All right. Here's what today's question says. My brother was working for an electrical company installing lighting in a new tunnel that was being built. The tunnel collapsed and caused my brother to have severe injuries, which required surgery. He's also having to undergo physical therapy. The electrical company's workers' compensation is paying all his medical bills and lost wages. The company that was building the tunnel was investigated, and it turns out they had violated several state safety regulations and were fined a significant amount of money. My brother has been told he is not entitled to any additional money for how much he suffered. The state workers' compensation insurance only covers medical and lost wages. Could you ask your lawyer friend if he could do anything to get reimbursed for his pain and suffering? I did not know that about the state workers' compensation plan, that they didn't cover pain and suffering. So I want to thank them for giving us a very detailed question here. We'll turn it over now to Bruce L. Scheiner and see what he thinks.
Well, Todd, this is a great question because a lot of people aren't aware that when they get hurt on the job, the employer automatically is responsible for their lost wages and all the medical treatment they need. And that is whether or not the employer bears any fault for his injury.
Okay.
It's kind of like a no-fault system. When you work for an employer, you're entitled to receive those benefits whether or not you're at fault.
And that's good, of course, but there's still more to be sought here, of course.
Correct. However, in a case like this where there's a third party, in other words, the builder of the tunnel is negligent, you can sue or collect from the negligent party for all of your damages. Workers' compensation only pays you 60% of your lost wages.
Oh.
You could collect the other 40% or 100% of your lost wages, plus your medical bills, plus your pain, suffering, inconvenience, inability to enjoy life, and your wife can recover for her loss of consortium, which is her loss because you're injured.
Okay.
So there's a tremendous amount that you can recover from the party that caused the accident if that is different than your employer. Now, there's one caveat, is that the employer has the right of reimbursement or right of subrogation. They can get paid back for what they pay you when you recover from another party.
I see.
But you're still far ahead if you're able to recover from a third party when you're injured on the job.
Okay. Well, that's interesting, and I knew none of this. Thankfully, I've never been hurt on the job, but it's nice to know that there's another avenue in case something like that does happen.
Yeah, this is a typical situation. When you're seriously injured, the first thing you should do is call an experienced personal injury attorney so they could put you on the right path.
Yeah.
Because you have to deal with the workers' compensation carrier, and you have to pursue the insurance company for the party who caused your injury.
And again, I have no experience with this whatsoever, thankfully. But from what I hear, sort of rumor, dealing with workers' comp and those kinds of issues, extremely complicated.
Well, it's not only extremely complicated, but, they don't want to provide you with the benefits that you're entitled to. So you need someone on your side to help you obtain the appropriate benefits.
I'm all for do-it-yourself projects, but this isn't one of them, This one you turn over to a professional.
I agree.
Right.
That's the first thing you should do.
Bruce, that sounds terrific, and I'm sure that is going to go a long way towards improving the outlook in this situation. Thank you so much for your wisdom.
It's my pleasure, Todd. I'm looking forward to speaking to you next Wednesday.
As are we. Have a good week. Say hi to everybody for us.
Thank you, Todd.
Take care now. Bye-bye. Ladies and gentlemen, Bruce L. Scheiner, attorney for the injured. Good to hear that there is some recourse in this situation. Now, if you'd like to submit a question for future consideration, it's as easy as going to our website and putting Bruce in the keyword search box. If you have something like in this case, where there's severe injury and the money's not coming in, that kind of thing, bypass what I just said and directly call the Port Charlotte office of Associates and Bruce L. Scheiner. Call 941-743-7777, 941-743-7777, and tell them that Todd Matthews sent you from Kicks Country 92.9.